Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Podcast English Learning, where learning English feels simple and enjoyable every step of the way. It's always good to have you here. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How about you? How's your day going so far? Mine's been quite relaxing. I took it slow this morning and enjoyed a nice warm cup of coffee. It was just what I needed to start the day right. That sounds wonderful. There's just something special about coffee in the morning, isn't there? It really helps start the day right. So what are we diving into today? It's a fun and very practical topic. We're talking about daily routines. This is something every English learner can relate to because we all go through our day doing common things. And now you'll learn how to talk about them in English. No matter who you are, you have a routine. It might change slightly from day to day, but the structure is there, and that makes it a great way to practice useful verbs and expressions related to time. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Podcast English Learning. Your support truly means a lot to us, and today we've got something special for you. Not a live guest, but a story from our friend Jessie. She reached out and shared a message about her typical day. That's right, Jessie is going to walk us through her daily routine. We'll listen to her story first, then we'll come back and reflect on it together. We'll also talk a bit about our own routines. It's a fantastic way to hear real, natural English and pick up useful vocabulary for everyday life. Are you ready to hear it? Let's dive into Jessie's day. Hello, my name is Jessie, and today I'd like to share my daily routine with you. I usually wake up around 6 o'clock in the morning on weekdays. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of waking up early, but I have to because my job begins early. The first thing I do is get out of bed and walk to the bathroom. There I brush my teeth and wash my face. That splash of cold water really helps me feel more awake. After that, I head to the kitchen. I always start my day with a hot cup of coffee. I absolutely love it. While the coffee is brewing, I check my phone. I glance through my messages and emails, and sometimes I scroll through social media for a few minutes. Once my coffee is ready, I go get dressed. I usually choose something simple for work, maybe pants and a shirt. I don't wear anything fancy during the week. Then it's time for breakfast. I like to keep it easy, usually toast with butter and jam, and of course, my coffee. Sometimes I'll add some fruit as well. Around 7 o'clock, I leave the house and head to work. I take the bus, which takes about 30 minutes. During the ride, I usually listen to music or a podcast. I arrive at the office around 7:30, just in time to get settled before work starts at 7:45. I work in an office, so most of my day is spent at a computer. I begin by checking my emails and then I move on to my regular tasks. I work for several hours straight. At 12 noon, I have lunch. I usually bring something from home, either a sandwich or a salad. I eat with my coworkers and we usually chat and laugh. It's a nice break in the middle of the day. In the afternoon, I continue with my work. Sometimes I have a few meetings depending on the day. My workday ends at 4:30, and then I catch the bus back home. I usually get home around 5 o'clock. Once I'm home, I like to relax. I sit down on the sofa, maybe watch a little TV or read a book. Just something to unwind. Around 6:30, I start making dinner. I actually enjoy cooking, so I like to try new recipes when I can. After dinner, I clean up and wash the dishes. In the evening, I love spending time with my family. Sometimes we watch a movie or just sit and talk. Once in a while, I'll go for a short walk just to get some movement in. Before bed, I take a shower. Then I settle in with a good book and read for a little while. I usually go to sleep around 10:30 at night, and I try to get around 7 to 8 hours of rest. And that's what a typical weekday looks like for me. That was lovely. Thank you, Jesse, for taking us through your day in such a clear and personal way. Really, thank you so much. Your story gave us a great window into your daily routine. And I especially liked how clearly you shared the times, like 6 o'clock in the morning and 12 noon. Knowing how to talk about time is so helpful when describing your day in English. Absolutely. And what stood out to me is how many everyday verbs she used. Verbs that we all use without even thinking. Like, she wakes up, she gets out of bed. Great examples to learn from. Yes. And one moment that really caught my ear was when she said, I don't like waking up early, but my job starts early. That is such a relatable sentence. I feel the same way most mornings. I hear you. Waking up early isn't always fun, but having a purpose, like a job, makes it worth it. Totally agree. And then she said, I brush my teeth and wash my face. Those small habits we all do to start our day. They're simple but essential. Then came my favorite part, coffee. She makes herself a cup every morning. That's a must-have in my book. Same here. Morning doesn't truly begin until I've had that first sip of coffee. And while she waits for the coffee, she checks her phone, messages, emails, even a little social media. That's such a modern morning routine. I think a lot of people can relate to that. It's true, technology is part of our mornings now. Then she gets dressed. Simple work clothes. I like that. It shows that you don't have to be fancy, just comfortable and ready for the day. Exactly. And then breakfast. She mentioned toast with butter and jam, sometimes a bit of fruit, and of course, her coffee again. So simple, so classic. Perfect for a quick meal before leaving the house. Then she heads out to work. She takes the bus, which is a very common way to commute. A 30-minute ride, not too long, not too short, and a great time to listen to music or even a podcast. Like Podcast English Learning, right? Absolutely. A podcast is the perfect companion on your ride to work. She arrives at the office around 7:30 and her job starts at 7:45. I love that she gives herself a bit of time to settle in before diving into work. Being on time, or even early, is such a good habit. Then she gets to work. She checks emails, does her tasks, and spends hours at the computer. That's very common nowadays. Oh yes, a lot of us spend most of the day in front of screens. Then, right at 12 noon, it's lunchtime. She brings food from home, a sandwich or a salad, which is a great way to save money and eat a little healthier. And she eats with her coworkers, which is lovely. Talking, laughing, those little moments help build good connections at work. Definitely. Then in the afternoon, she keeps working and sometimes has meetings. That's the reality for many of us. Meetings are part of most jobs now, and her workday ends at 4:30, which is a great time. Not too late, just right to get home and unwind. She catches the bus again and gets home by around 5 o'clock. Once she's back, she takes a moment to relax, sits on the sofa, maybe watches some TV or reads a book. And I love that she gives herself that moment to breathe. After a long workday, it's important to step away and rest your mind. Exactly. Around 6:30, she starts making dinner, and she mentioned that she enjoys cooking, even experimenting with new recipes. That's such a nice hobby. Cooking can be fun and creative. Then comes the part none of us really love, Washing the dishes. Ha ha ha. Yes, the chore no one volunteers for, but it's part of life. Then comes family time. Watching a movie, having conversations. It's heartwarming to hear that she ends her day surrounded by loved ones. That's really special. And she even fits in some light exercise, like going for a walk. A short walk in the evening is so refreshing. And finally, her bedtime routine. She takes a shower, reads a book, and then heads to bed around 10:30 at night. She tries to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. That's great advice. Good sleep is essential for your mind and body to recharge. Absolutely. All in all, Jessie's day is simple, relatable, and full of useful language. A great example for anyone learning to talk about their own routine in English. So after hearing Jessie walk us through her day, I have to ask, Paul, how does your routine compare? Great question. Well, there are definitely some similarities. Like Jessie, I start my mornings early too, though not quite as early as her. I usually wake up around 7 o'clock. Ah, yes, the not-so-friendly alarm clock. I think most of us have a love-hate relationship with it. Exactly. Even though I don't love waking up early, I still get up, head to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and wash my face. That part of the routine looks almost identical. And let me guess, coffee comes next? You got it. A fresh cup of coffee is the first thing I prepare after that. It's a non-negotiable part of my morning. Of course, the coffee club. I'm right there with you. I always have my cup in the morning too. And while I drink it, I usually check my phone for messages, emails, maybe some quick headlines. Same here. It sounds like all three of us, you, me, and Jessie, have pretty similar mornings. Wake up, freshen up, make coffee, check our phones. It's a modern ritual at this point. And after that, I get dressed for the day. I go with comfortable, simple clothes. Same as Jessie. Working in the studio, I don't need to dress up too much. Totally agree. Comfort is key. What about breakfast? Do you eat before heading out? Yes, I do. My go-to breakfast is usually yogurt with fruit and a bit of granola. Sometimes I'll switch it up with toast depending on the day. That sounds both healthy and delicious. My usual is toast and eggs, or once in a while a bowl of cereal. So after breakfast, how do you get to work? Jessie takes the bus, right? She does, but I drive to work. My office isn't close by, so driving makes more sense for me. It usually takes me about 25 minutes. Oh, okay, a different commute. I drive as well, but my commute is shorter, just around 15 minutes. I'm lucky to live pretty close. That's nice. So when you arrive at work, what's the first thing you do? Like Jessie, I start with checking my emails. Then I organize my tasks for the day. It helps set a rhythm. Same here. That first email check is almost automatic at this point. Then the rest of the day is filled with computer work. Again, similar to Jessie. Whether it's podcast planning, editing, or writing scripts, I'm in front of a screen for hours. Same for me. It's the digital age, right? And when it comes to lunch, Jessie eats at 12 noon. I tend to eat a bit later, around 1 o'clock. I'm the same. I usually bring lunch from home, like a salad or some leftovers from dinner the night before. Yes, leftovers are underrated. Sometimes I bring lunch, other times I buy something nearby. It depends on the day. Practical either way. And then comes the afternoon stretch. Do you have a lot of meetings during that time? I do, especially now. Most of my meetings are online, but they still take up a big chunk of my afternoons. So that's another thing we all share with Jessie. She mentions she has meetings sometimes too. And what time does your workday usually end? I typically wrap things up around 4:30 or 5 o'clock. What about you? Same here, usually somewhere between 5 and 5:30. And when I get home, I really make it a point to unwind for a few minutes. Yes, it's so important. I usually change into something cozy, then sit on the sofa, maybe listen to music, or scroll through some news just to shift gears. Exactly. And then comes dinner time. Jessie starts cooking around 6:30, and I'd say I'm usually in the kitchen between 6 and 7. That's the same for me. I love cooking, but some days I'm just not in the mood. On those nights, I'll order in, and that's okay too. Definitely. We all need a break from cooking now and then. And then comes the dishes. Ah, yes, the chore that never goes away. But it's part of the rhythm of the day, just like Jessie said. After that, it's evening time. Jessie spends it with her family, and I do too. Or I might watch a movie, read a book, or go out for a little walk. That sounds almost identical to my evenings. I also like to go for a walk or spend some quiet time. Then it's the bedtime routine. Take a shower, relax, and read a little before sleep. I like to listen to an audiobook sometimes. It helps me wind down. What time do you usually go to bed? Jessie said she goes to bed around 10:30, and I try to stick to that too, or maybe 11 if I'm feeling awake. That's my range as well, somewhere between 10:30 and 11 o'clock. I always aim for 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Same here. It really makes a difference in how the next day feels. So when you look at Jessie's day, it's pretty close to what most of us go through. A structured, busy, but balanced routine. Absolutely. And I love how her story reminds us that even the simple things, brushing your teeth, making coffee, chatting at lunch, are full of real useful English we can all learn from. All of these verbs, like wake up, get out of bed, brush your teeth, make coffee, get dressed, eat breakfast, go to work, have lunch, finish work, go home, make dinner, wash the dishes, take a shower, read a book, and go to bed. They're part of everyday life. And let's not forget those helpful time expressions. 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 a.m., 12 noon, 4:30 p.m., 5 o'clock, 6:30, and 10:30 at night. These phrases are super useful when you're talking about your day. Now, how about we listen to Jessie's routine one more time? It's a great chance to review everything we've just learned. Hello, my name is Jessie, and I'd like to walk you through what a regular weekday looks like for me. I usually start my day around 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not exactly a morning person, but my job begins early, so I don't have much of a choice. The first thing I do is get out of bed and go straight to the bathroom, where I brush my teeth and wash my face. That always helps me feel a bit more awake and ready to start the day. After that, I head to the kitchen to make myself a fresh cup of coffee, my favorite part of the morning. While it's brewing, I check my phone. I go through my messages and emails and sometimes scroll through social media for just a few minutes. Then I get dressed. I usually wear something simple, just pants and a shirt, nothing fancy. Next up is breakfast. I keep it light, usually toast with butter and jam, and of course, my coffee. Sometimes I'll add some fruit to it as well. At around 7 o'clock, I leave the house and catch the bus to work. The ride takes about 30 minutes, and I like to spend that time listening to music or a podcast. I get to the office around 7:30, and I begin work at 7:45. I work in an office setting, so most of my time is spent in front of a computer. I start by checking my emails, then move on to my daily tasks. When the clock hits 12 noon, it's time for lunch. I usually bring something from home, maybe a sandwich or a salad. I eat with my coworkers and we take a little time to chat and laugh together. It's a nice mental break. After lunch, I go back to work. Some days I have meetings depending on the schedule. My workday usually ends around 4:30. After that, I take the bus home and get back around 5 o'clock. Once I'm home, I like to relax. I sit on the sofa, maybe turn on the TV, or read a book for a little while. At about 6:30, I start preparing dinner. I actually enjoy cooking, so I sometimes experiment with new recipes. After dinner, I clean up and wash the dishes. In the evening, I like to spend time with my family. We might watch a movie, talk, or just enjoy each other's company. Sometimes I go for a short walk to move a little. Before I go to bed, I take a shower, then wind down with a good book. I usually head to bed around 10:30 at night, and I try to get around 7 or 8 hours of sleep. That's a typical weekday in my life. And that wraps up Jesse's daily routine. We hope you enjoyed listening and picked up some helpful words and phrases you can start using right away. It's amazing how much we can learn just by hearing about someone's real-life day. Thank you so much, Jesse, for sharing your story. And thank you to everyone for tuning in to Podcast English Learning. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this episode, and share it with anyone learning English. And here's a fun question for you. What's one thing you do every single day? Let us know in the comments. We'd really love to hear from you. That's it for today. We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep learning and keep going.